G'day, how are you doing? Hopefully you're doing very well, keeping healthy and safe. I'm doing pretty sweet on this side of the desk. Today we are going to look at this beast of a laptop. This is a monstrous laptop. Now we've seen the industry move from a 15-inch to a 16-inch. Well, what do they do with the 17-inch? Well, make 18 inches. So this here is the Dell Alienware M18, and I don't think I've had another larger laptop than this on this channel. I think the other one that probably gets close to it is also another Dell Alienware, and that was the Area 51, and then after that is probably the Dell Precision 77 series, which is a 17-inch, both 17 inches. This one 18 inch. This is a different level altogether, but because of its size, we also have the best specs you can buy right now here in 2023. This can actually get an i9, the 13th gen with a GeForce RTX 4090, and because of the size of it, we got the best thermals in this to let those massive powerful components run at its best. Now we're going to look at the temperature and fan noise, we're going to look at some of this performance, and we're going to look at some of the features, and we are also looking at the internals. And as always, I will be putting timestamps along this video, so skip to a different section. You may be interested to save you time. There are two options for the display. There's a Full HD Plus or the Quad HD Plus. Now that Plus means has an aspect ratio of 16:10. Now both have a maximum brightness or lumens of 300 nits, and both have a matte finish to the display. Now with the Quad HD Plus, it has a refresh rate of 165 Hz. If you want more faster, then look at the Full HD Plus, which can go all the way up to 480 Hz for the refresh rate. Now, as I was testing out the Quad HD Plus, it actually only showed very slight ghosting in the UFO ghosting. I find it very acceptable. I think I actually did pretty well here. Measuring the color gamma coverage of the Quad HD Plus display, it resulted with 99.2% sRGB coverage, 86.9% Adobe RGB coverage, and 96.2% DCI-P3 coverage. This is a recording from the 1080p webcam from the Alienware M18. This is the video and audio unedited, so you can hear and see what the quality of the webcam is like. And as always, I've got two types that's currently turned on for this webcam test, and that's my one strill light on, and also the downlights in this room turn off for ambience. Now I'm going to turn off my one strill light off, and the two downlights in front of me is a bit far away, so there's actually not much light here on my face. This is what I consider a dark environment. It really has adjusted. It just took a bit of time, and it's finally adjusted there. Now, if you're in the office environment, you should have much more light than what I'm currently at. And I'm going to turn my one strill light back on, see how this adjusts. Now, it is adjusting a little bit quicker with the more light here. And of course, better quality light gives you better quality picture. Now, definitely love to hear what your thoughts of this 1080p webcam. Put a comment below. As for the keys, this is one of the highlights of the M18 besides the crazy performance. We have this nice, beautiful cherry mechanical keys, and they are individually RGB light lit. We have really see these nice colors that shine through, especially when you change different color schemes in the Alienware Command Center. These are gorgeous keys. Now, these tactile feel, you get this nice retraction from recoil of the actual pressing of each keys. You get like sort of like a two-step press, and you actually definitely feel it actually takes a bit of little effort, and then you get this nice bounce back. I really love the feel of these keys, and then even the sound of it. You've got that nice little twine sound on this keys as well, and definitely the feel of the surface of the keys is very smooth, and I will say these are what I call large size keys, and definitely you get a nice full size keyboard with the number pad on the right hand side. As for the trackpad, it's another nice large size trackpad, which is mechanical, so it's hinged at the top and you can depress it at the bottom. It's multi-gestures, and we've got a very nice sort of smooth surface, and it's not, I wouldn't say this is glass smooth, but it's still a very smooth surface that most Dells would normally have. And definitely I didn't find having any issues registering my touch, and I can see it lasts for quite a lot of time. Being a gaming laptop, more than likely you'll be pairing with a gaming mouse, as I don't really see much people playing games using the trackpad, but still it's there if you need it. The M18 comes with a 97 watt-hour battery, and I managed to get 3 hours and 40 minutes for the modern office battery life test and PC Mark 10, 1 hour and 6 minutes for gaming, and 4 hours and 7 minutes for video playback in the Procom battery life test. I would say the battery life is pretty much on par with other gaming laptops of this category, but we are running very powerful components like the i9 and also the RTX 4080 in this one, which is, I'll overall say, just slightly above average. The weight of the Alienware M18 is 3.97 plus the 330 watt power adapter becomes a combined weight of 4.94 kilos you might be carrying around with you. There are 2 speakers located on the bottom on either side of the M18, now, which is a bit of a surprise considering the size of this laptop. I was expecting more speakers from this, and when I tested the maximum volume of the speakers, it managed to measure in a peak of 85.1 decibels. So I will actually consider this in the medium range. I wouldn't say they are quiet, but they have at least a decent amount of volume. Now, as for the sound quality of speakers, these are actually quite decent speakers for a 2-speaker system, and especially in a gaming laptop, they normally don't have very good speakers. This one's actually quite decent. We've got quite a bit of bass, and it is a little bit punchy bass as well. And we also have very clear mids and highs. It is balanced to the mids. We have very decent reverb and acoustics, so they've got good clarity in these speakers. Surprisingly, these speakers sound quite nice compared to other gaming laptops. As for the temperatures and fan noise, when I took my measurement, the ambient temperature in the room was 20 degrees Celsius and the ambient room noise measured in at 35 decibels. So before we get started, as always, your average hand is anywhere between 33 to 35 degrees Celsius, just to give you a reference point so you'd even know how hot or how cool this laptop could be. So I took my base measurement when the computer was idle, and the hottest area around the keyboard measured a maximum of 36 degrees Celsius. And as for the fan noise, it measured in at a peak of 35 decibels, so practically silent. And the average internal core temperature was 44 degrees Celsius. Then I took 20% load on the computer. That's pretty much light use, so that's tasks like office activity work, surfing the web, streaming video, and the hottest air around the keyboard measured a maximum of 42 degrees Celsius. And as for the fan noise, it stayed at 35 decibels, so it's still silent, and the average internal core temperature was 64 degrees Celsius. Then I put 50% load on the computer, and the hottest air around the keyboard measured a maximum of 39 degrees Celsius. And as for the fan, it did spin all the way up to a maximum of 43 decibels, and the average internal core temperature was 83 degrees Celsius. Then I put the computer on high performance mode with 100% load, and the hottest air around the keyboard measured a maximum of 39 degrees Celsius as well. And as for the fan, it did spin all the way up to 53 decibels, so you definitely hear that fan go off. And as for the average internal core temperature was 91 degrees Celsius. Then I put the computer in overdrive mode in the Alienware command center to let this computer perform at its maximum, and the hottest area around the keyboard measured a maximum of 40 degrees Celsius. And as for the fan noise, spun all the way up to 54 decibels. And as for the average internal core temperatures was 92 degrees Celsius. I also measured the bottom back cover while I had 100% load, and the hottest air around the back cover measured a maximum of 41 degrees Celsius. I don't normally recommend working on computers while it's on your lap. Besides the actual temperature of the M18, there's also the weight factor. In truth, the temperatures is actually quite controlled and quite decent, but the system fans, wow, you definitely hear them go off. And I am a little worried that you actually may hear the system fans through even closed headphones while you're gaming. Now, the build construction of the M18, there's nothing to hide from it, and I'm going to put it plain and simple for you. It's made purely of plastic. There is a technical name for polycarbonate, so I'm just saying it is plastic just to make it easy for you. And that is, the bottom cover is made of plastic, the actual top cover is made of plastic, and also the sides and also the palm rest. But you got a nice little texture for the palm rest on here, which is actually pretty decent. But definitely, I don't see this probably wear and tear through time, as this is usually very nice and demonstrated in commercial laptops. They are mostly made of plastic or aluminum, but most of the time plastic for those models in the mid-range there, and they do very well. They can last for very many years, and they usually like handle very badly because I'll treat them like loaner cars or rental cars. That's the same with the business laptops as well, and this does really well, I think, for long periods and long time after many uses here. I don't see any problem there at all. Now, just to go on the hinge, now we do have pretty much a one hinge system, goes along from the left to the right hand side, and we might as well do the hinge test. So I'll just quickly shut this down and see how this. Now I'm going to try my best to balance it. It is quite a bit of weight here, and it's not even opening the gap here at all. That's holding very well, and I'll do the one finger test just so you can see this. I see this actually going to do very well because purely the weight of this laptop here is going to hold this thing down. So I've just got, now there is a bit of friction and grip here, and then after that it is pretty much smooth all the way here. Now it goes up to what I'll say this is probably about 220 degrees, and that's as far as it can go. Again, this first part here, probably I'll say first 10%, there is a little bit of friction, but after that it's all smooth going from there. Now we also have, I'm going to just quickly perform the bend test. I don't see this as the bending, but you can see from this thing, but this thing is too hard to bend. This is just, it's so solidly built here. I honestly hate bending here, but I still got to do it because that's keep things consistent on this channel. And the keyboard flex, there is not that much at all. Now again, I'm putting a lot of weight here onto that keyboard. This thing can take a lot of beating. So definitely build constructions, you can tick that off. Very well done, Dell. Here's the results of the benchmarks performed on the Alienware M18. This one's configured with an i9 13900HX processor with 64 gigs RAM, 1TB SSD, and also the GeForce RTX 4080. Here's the results for Passmark, Citybench R23, PC Mark, 3D Mark, Geekbench, Crystal Disk Mark, Procon Office, Procon Photo Edit, Procon Video Edit, Fusion Photoshop, Fusion Lightroom, Fusion Premiere Pro, Fusion After Effects, Fusion DaVinci Resolve, Blender, Vermark, Luxmark, Eugene Engine, and SpecView Pref. And some gaming benchmarks like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Far Cry 6, Cyberpunk 2077, and F1 2022. Looking at the benchmarks, this thing performs absolutely insane. This Alienware M18, it is just pure speed. It is just fast. That's all I can say. Absolute fast. Now, you do have a bit of fan noise for this absolute insane speed and performance, but you at least can turn that down if you want to. But if you want to just let it rip, go into that overdrive mode and definitely hear it and watch this thing spin up its fan and just let you get the best FPS for your games. Now, the other thing I really enjoyed about this M18 is the keyboard. Now, I love usually the Lenovo ThinkPad keyboards, but I also love the mechanical tactile feel, and that's what these keys do give you on this M18. I just love feeling it. It has that really good tactile, probably what I would say, a double tapping feel to it. You do feel that clickiness as well too. And you've got, it's not like overly loud for, let's say, cherry keys. So they actually have a nice little feel and sound to it, a little bit of a twine sound. I love that thing. So absolutely love the keyboard on this M18. Well, there's some decent speakers as well on this, which is very unusual for gaming computers to have decent speakers. So these are actually decent speakers, even though they had two speaker system. I think it's probably one thing Dell can probably improve and actually give us some more bass, probably some subs in the next one. We do have space, so why not give us some extra speakers there? We have a semi-decent, at least it's full HD webcam, and we've got a nice trackpad as well, and that display, good for gaming, that's for sure. Now I hope you find this video informative or enjoyed it. If you did, and support my channel, smash that like button for me and share this video. It does help me out as well. And as always, imperfections in life makes it beautiful and interesting. And I'll see you next video.